Well, it's November 11th and everything has changed. The weather is on its way. We've got a front moving through. I think the low tonight is supposed to be 16 degrees. They're calling for 2 to 4 inches of snow in the mountains here in West Virginia tomorrow. It is getting exciting. In the mountains here, when it snows like that in November, October, November, when we've had snow early, man, the bucks are on their feet. They're moving. So we knew we had to be here. My son had a wrestling tournament in Toledo that ended yesterday. We drove all the way home last night, got everything repacked, got in the car this morning, and we're headed to West Virginia. We won't get there in time to hunt tonight, but we'll be ready to go in the morning. We were here last week, had some really good encounters. Had a nice 9-point that came in that we just could not get stopped. He walked right in front of us at 10 yards. I was afraid to make a noise and stop him because I was afraid, we'd blow that opportunity for later on. The smaller buck was over with some does, and he was intent on pushing them out of his area. So he went on, and we just let him go. Didn't rush a shot. Played it safe, and so that's kind of what happened. We had another nice buck a couple weeks ago in Tennessee that came into a food plot, wouldn't cooperate. That's the story of my life. These deer would never cooperate with me, but nevertheless had some good encounters. It was cool to see them, but now it's getting serious. It's November 11th, like I said. Rut is just around the corner here in West Virginia. We've got snow coming in. We've got cold temperatures. I'm sure I'm going to freeze to death because my blood is used to Tennessee weather when it's 80s and 90s, not 16 degrees. I know that all the northern guys think I'm a big wuss, but it is what it is. It's our first morning of the hunt here in West Virginia this week, and it is beautiful. Wind's blowing the right way. There's snow everywhere. It's pretty perfect, but it is cold. I mean, when I tell you it's cold, it is really cold up here. Wind's blowing, snow everywhere, ice, and it's cold. But I got this reactor gear on, and it seems to be keeping me pretty warm, which is nice. So we're going to be in here all day long. The first buck of the morning. It's a decent little 8-pointer. He came in, he was a little spooky. This wind is howling up here and swirling. Not what we're looking for, but a good sign that today's going to be a good day. There's another little 8. I don't know where the big 8 is, or the big 9, but we got plenty of little 8s. So, it's getting cold. It is 18 degrees out here. It's 5 a.m. in West Virginia. We're having to scrape ice and snow and everything else off the windshields here. It is cold. It is going to be a cold day, but it's day 2 here in West Virginia. We're going to get dressed here in a second. We'll head up the mountain. We're going to get today started. We got up in our stand here this morning. We're on a new spot here. It's out on the end of a point. Kind of borders the interstate here in West Virginia. Had some decent bucks on camera. We'll see what happens. We're really only coming in the morning. Not much is moving on camera in the evening. I don't know why. What's going on, so we're just going to sit here till about 1:32 and then probably head back to the hotel. I had a deer come in on us dark, couldn't tell what it is, came up as I was getting set up, but we'll see. It's going to be a good cold morning. It's clear, very little wind. Wind's blowing in the right direction today, so hopefully we'll have a better on. We'll get it started and see what happens. Well, I just smoked a beautiful West Virginia buck here in the snow. It's like 16 degrees. Been amazing. It's wow. He came in probably an hour and a half ago and laid on this point and just bedded down. And he bedded down for 45 minutes to an hour and just laid there. Watched him for a long time, and he got up, went over the other edge of the hill, just disappeared. I texted my wife. I said, well, he's gone. I said, that's it. And so it wasn't 20 minutes later, a little 6-point came over the hill and he followed him right over. And so 6-point went down to the bottom, and it was thick and it happened quick, and I didn't have time to get much of it or any of it on camera. And he went over the edge and kind of disappeared, and I couldn't find him. Then just a few minutes later, here came a doe running up through here, and here he came following her up the road. She stayed below us. She was off camera, but he stayed on top of this ridge and walked down. And she spooked and went back the other way, and he went back and stood there for a while, and then finally he walked right out here 20 yards, probably wasn't even 20 yards, probably 15 yards, gave me a perfect broadside shot, took a shot, went all the way through him, gone, man. He took off, went down the hill and just crashed about 35-40 yards over the side of the hill, man. You talk about an unbelievable adrenaline rush, man, to have that kind of a buck that close to you here in the mountains. 15 degrees, I'm shivering, shaking, nervous, all kinds of torn up, man. But thank God I got a West Virginia buck down. Stinking awesome, man. Gotta love it, man. This is why we do this. This is unbelievable. We had to shed a bunch of clothes, man. We had the big heavy scent lock stuff on. We were starting to sweat, so we've given him plenty of time. I could actually see him from the tree stand. He was just 50 yards over the hill here. So we're gonna go over here where we shot him. I can see the arrow. We're gonna follow the blood out, and we're gonna run down and get him. So you can see my arrow's sticking right here. A little bit of blood out this way, and when he took off, he was just gushing blood out of both sides. So I expect there'll be a ton of blood out here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this arrow and head over the edge. There he is. Dead buck. This is one of the difficulties of hunting West Virginia. You're going to see what I'm talking about. We had to use an extra lifeline I had as a way to get this deer out of here. We're actually winching him up inches at a time, trying to get him up this hill. You can't see, but you can kind of see how steep this is. I mean, it is straight up and straight down. We're just going to take our time, ease him up to the top, and then we should be able to drag him to the Ranger. What a beautiful day here in West Virginia, man. You just can't ask for much more. I mean, it was 16 degrees this morning when we left. I mean, it was cold. We had all the heavy gear on we could get, came up here, stayed nice and warm for the most part. Had 2 or 3 does come in and a small buck, and then a button buck came in to feed. Gave me a perfect shot. I put a good shot on him. It's a pretty steep angle. I had to hit him a little bit high, but he only ran about 45, 50 yards, went over the hill, and just bulldozed down the hill, and that was it. Just left an amazing blood trail. You can actually see where he bedded behind me. Just nice, dry, snow melted where he laid there for an hour. So it was just an amazing hunt. It was a great day. All the work's going to begin, and actually it was a chore getting him out of this bottom. So we had to use a lifeline and just winch him up a few inches at a time, get him up the hill, but we finally got him up top, and now we're going to get him in the Ranger and get him home. Bow hunt or die.
guys, well, good afternoon and welcome to the tree stand. It's a beautiful, beautiful day this morning. Kind of the rut days. No sun, but overcast and a steady breeze. So that's going to help us out in the stand. We got a steady, probably 10 to 12 mile an hour wind in our face, which made me switch my ball cap out for a beanie. I don't know if there's a buck behind her or not. There's a buck right behind her. Oh crap. There's a buck right there. He's gonna push this doe away from me. I just killed a big doe. Absolutely looked like I hammered her. She ran the same direction as my buck did when I killed him. Had the same stand too. It's been a pretty eventful sit. I'm actually all shook up too. That's fun. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna jump on tracking her. Thought I heard a deer. But I'm gonna jump on tracking her. We've already got some blood right here down below us. And we just started. So this is like 6 feet away from where the arrow was. So on the first bound, she's already putting out. Pretty good blood. Only went about 40 yards on the blood, and I didn't see her crash, and I couldn't see her from right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to back out. I'm going to go back to the house and grab the ranger, give her an extra hour, so she'll have about an hour and a half of being dead. Just want to make sure when in doubt, back out. I did not see her fall, so I went back and they actually had supper ready. So now we're at about 2.5 to 3 hours, so should be good. Even if it's a one lung liver type of deal, she should be dead up in here. So I'm gonna grab my stuff and we'll go find her. So the biggest thing that I gotta have, HME scale. We'll see how big she is. Enter her in the trophy doe contest. Alright guys, you gotta look at this. This is a spot where she was actually bedded. About another 30 yards from where I stopped. So that's her first bed and she's not in it. Really, really good blood all through it. Alright guys, well like I said, I came up about another 30 yards from where we were. So we were at about 70 yards and found 4 beds, and then there's just stupid blood down here, so I don't expect her to be much farther than this. We're at about 60 yards right now. I think I see her down here. Let me try to see if I can get this focused. This looks like a belly. She's dead down the bottom of this ravine, but awesome blood all the way to her. And I found 4 beds within like a 10-foot circle, so they're tough. It's a good thing I backed out when I did, though, because definitely this one needed its time or something. That's weird. Wow. All right, guys, well, tonight was a great night. Tonight was a great night because of a couple things. For one, I'm alive. I'm physically able to hunt, and also we saw some good deer tonight. I had, kind of last minute, jumped back into the stand, same stand that I killed my buck out of about a week ago. She stopped in a perfect little window where I'd cut a tree down and just kind of stood there. And as luck would have it, I was able to get spun around and draw and make a good shot. Now, the funny thing that you hear all the time is, man, I had good blood and she went farther than I thought, or I don't know how that deer is still alive. And you hear that all the time. So the smartest thing that you can do is just back out. And even tonight, I can't tell you for sure, how long she was alive or anything like that. But she did go about 110 yards, and we found some beds right up on the hill there, about 4 of them right in a little spot there. It looks like she went from 1 to 1 to 1 and then crashed down this hill. So I don't know how fast that all happened, but I'm assuming it was pretty quick. But when in doubt, back out and give them some time, and then you can come, because obviously she's still dead. So that's the end goal here, and we'll get her tagged and get her gutted and then get her weighed and see how big this old girl is. I got her up here, hung up, tied her head back just so that she could get all the way off the ground, and I got a whole another pound out of her. So 104 pounds is the official weight here. I'll show you the inside and everything that is cleaned out good, but not the biggest doe, that's for sure, but a good one to get on the board with. So I'm pretty happy. Big mature doe, and she's gonna eat good. So
well, Josh looked awfully chilly on that hunt.
He did look a little cold, but I think he warmed up a little bit when the adrenaline hit. I think when I was watching his second angle from his GoPro, I think he shoots, and before the arrows even through the deer, Josh is like fist pumping already. He was jacked up,
That was
man.
some fist pumping for sure. I mean, watching that buck slide down that hill, I'm like, whoa, hopefully that thing stops, because
Dude,
that mountain was a long way to go.
That was a steep hill. That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool footage. And that was a pretty epic blood trail that Josh had there in West Virginia. So congratulations to Josh.
Did you learn anything from his hunt? I kind of like the lifeline around the antlers and just using it as like a winch. That's a good idea. I don't think I would have thought of that. I'd have been the knucklehead trying to pull it straight up over the hill, but using it around the tree and then staying low and pulling it up, that was a good idea. I like it. Show everyone that again. That's a learning thing.
Good job, Josh. Good engineering skills there. And then we got Paul out in Ohio. He ventured home for a while I guess, to Ohio for a while this fall, shot a buck. Then he shoots a doe out of the same stand a couple days later, makes a good shot on her, but she's not going to win the trophy doe contest.
No, the only loser that's going to lose the trophy doe contest is me.
What does that mean? Like you're not even going to shoot one? You haven't shot one yet.
No, I need to go shoot.
You had opportunities. You passed.
I have not had as many opportunities.
You snooze, you lose, man. You got to kill.
Don't worry.
You got to kill.
I'm waiting for the right doe.
We're all waiting for the right doe. Clinton had a giant in front of him the other night, didn't shoot her. Bad decision on his part. All right, guys, next up, we've got our Ask the Experts question brought to you by the folks over at Lancaster Archery. This week's question says, what adjustments do I need to make when switching from an index finger release to a thumb release? That is a great question.
For PJ, for sure.
For PJ, for sure. So let's check in with PJ Riley and see what he's got to say.
And quickly, because your voice, you are going downhill quick. You need a Halls or something.
So switching from an index finger to a thumb button, what are some things that you want to watch out for? Your anchor point is probably number one. Your anchor point probably is going to change. Your hand position is definitely going to change when you come to full draw. So think about that, and what I want you to pay attention to is when your anchor point changes, Don't try and make it work for your peep sight height. In other words, if your hand wants to sit lower with your thumb button release, you don't want to raise it up so you can see through the peep. Get in what's your comfortable anchor and then move the peep to fit your anchor point. That's important. And then also, with index finger releases, they tend to activate a lot quicker than thumb button releases. It's really, these releases are set on the string. As soon as the trigger starts to go, the release goes off. With a thumb button release, you're gonna probably have to pull a little more. You don't wanna punch the trigger, so you don't wanna just have the release set and then you just slam the trigger like that. With a thumb button release, there's probably gonna be more pulling. You're gonna pull back, your thumb's just gonna be resting on that barrel. As you pull back with your hand, you're gonna activate the trigger. That's how it's going to go off. It's a lot more smooth than index finger releases tend to be. So those are some things to watch out for: your anchor point, peep height, and how you activate the trigger.
Thanks, PJ. That's some great advice for Josh. Justin, before we dive into the trophy photos, man, both of us kind of got called out by, I forgot his name. I can't find it on email here. But
we did?
Yeah, dude. Someone really gave us a hard time because we said we couldn't see your bow. So he sent us the picture of his bloody arrow. You know, I'm sure Brad will flip it up. So he really called it out. But listen, guys, put your bow in the photos so we don't have to end up in this situation. So.
Oh, I did see that email.
Yeah,
I was wondering what that was all about. That guy was mad.
That's
sorry.
Yeah, we're apologizing to you on the show right now, but
anybody can say that it's a bow kill, but if we can't see your bow in the photo, how do we know?
How do we know that was not a picture of his
buddy's
buddy's
arrow? Don't get mad at us,
arrow?
man.
Right.
Yeah, don't get mad at us. Jeez, but we do
Take
apologize.
a picture with your bow. People are sensitive nowadays. You got to be careful. This is a different world we live in today. So let's jump into the trophy photos and see who we can make happy and upset at the same time.
Let's do it.
Alex Krisoff.
Bill Schuster.
Chris Dunn.
Jason Blakeney.
Mike Hill.
And Rodney Miller.
Hey guys, these are some great trophies, but man, Justin, we're going to get blasted again because two of the best photos of this week's that have been submitted, there's no bows in the picture.
Don't get
again.
mad at us, people. We just make the rules. You guys have to follow them. Oh. Mike Hill and Rodney Miller, great photos. Both of them are great pictures.
But the beauty of life is other people's mistakes makes opportunities for other people.
No bows in those photos.
So Chris Dunn got the bows. No, it's not as good as the other two guys' photos, but Chris, there's no bow in those other two guys' photos. You're the winner of the Hunter Specialty Package this week. Make sure you get us your information. We're going to get that sent out to you. In the meantime, I don't even know what to say this year. There's going to be no bucks left next year.
There's going to be no bucks left.
That's what I'm sticking with.
Our team is still on a roll, putting down bucks. Hopefully we got a few more to put down before December ends. Guys, we got a lot of great episodes lined up. It looks like we're going to have 3 shows next week because we have a plethora of content coming at you. So next week, stay tuned for 3 awesome shows of Bowhunt or Die. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you next week.
5 minutes later, here he came chasing the doe, and actually, put my lucky hat back on.